What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Jack's Junkyard, Season 1, Episode 5. That's right. 5. Very excited. You may have noticed already that the room looks a little bit different. There's a Peanut sitting behind me over that shoulder, right? Hi, Peanut.
Hi.
Despite what you may think, she's not just an ordinary legume. She is, in fact, an extraordinary peanut. There's also a cat back there. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show today. I'm super excited to share this adventure with you today. And before I go any further, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that today's show is brought to you in parts by the following supporters. MCAT Creations, who is featured on our show for an interview today, and you're going to love what she has to say. Laura Boyett, who is our exciting entrant on the Junkyard's Got Talent for today. We're also supported today by the True Information Podcast, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. And finally, this show brought to you by Rip It Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of war. Ha! Anyway, once again, I'm Jack, and I'm jacked to talk to you today. Nah, it's going to be super, super fun. Yeah. Why? If you're going to do the sound effects, you got to do them with conviction.
Don't judge me.
Let's try that again. Hi, I'm Jack, and I'm jacked to talk to you today. Yeah! All right, that was fun. All right, so without further ado, let's kick this thing off. All right, welcome to Jack's Junkyard. I'm your host, Jack Kiesling. You know, that writer that wrote books that you've heard about, that you bought, and you love. Sitting with me tonight on the interview panel is Emily, who is the president, CEO, and queen of MCAT Creations, which is a fantastic company that produces some absolutely beautiful items, mugs, coffee mugs, thermoses, all kinds of crazy cool stuff. Super excited to be talking with her tonight. So Emily, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Hi. It's good to be here, first off. Thank you for inviting me. Like you said, my name is Emily, and I run MCAT Creations. And what I typically do is custom tumblers, double wall stainless steel tumblers. And pretty much I can design them in anything you can think of. Your imagination is literally your only limit at this point. I do resin art, so coasters and keychains, just kind of like fun stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. So how long have you been in business?
I started doing this, actually I started about 2 years ago, and I am happy to say June was a solid 6 months that I was all by myself, and it looks like it was going to make it work. And so then I did the whole the legal process of standing MCC up. And so I'm about 8 months in.
Okay, so 8 months going strong, you're legal to operate as a business, everything's going well, and I know you're coming off of a pretty awesome situation that you had at VetFest 2020. So you donated a couple of tumblers, and what happened with those?
I did better than I ever would have dreamed at this point in the stage. Maybe even 5 years down the road, I don't know that I could have seen my tumblers do what they did. I sent, I think, six custom tumblers specifically for Disgruntled Vet Fest 2020. I did some female glittery ones, and then I did some male ones, and then I also sent in it looks like a bullet, and it was done as a Constitution flag. And they went ahead and did the live auction with 2 of them, and my husband and I were actually sitting outside on the porch, like watching the whole live as it was going. And my husband was like, "Oh my God, like MCC is legit now." Like, it was super fun. So, but I mean, we raised what I hope is like a pretty penny for you guys, or for disgruntled veterans, like their festival and what they do, because I believe in what they provide for all the veterans.
Yeah. Didn't one of them sell for like over $500?
Yes, it did. I mean, like, we were literally, my husband and I were stunned at the interest and just how supporting everybody was towards them. And definitely I want to do this again next year, because and I'd like to visit next year, actually.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely. You got to come out. It's amazing. Fun. And then you can hang out with me, so.
Well, okay. We could do that.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, you're talking with your friend and you're like, "Hey, let's paint a tumbler." Like, how did that conversation go? What started this?
Actually, it was actually a third party friend, or mutual friend. And there are a few females in our parish, because I'm in Louisiana, and so we have parishes instead of counties. And there's a few females that actually do these tumblers. And my friend came to me and she said, Emily, I need you to make one of these. And I said, I don't think, I was like, we already have this other piece of the business, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and detail and, all that stuff. And she's like, Emily, I'm telling you, I think you could do this. And I was like, okay. Like the night I posted the very first tumbler on our other business, I literally got like four cup orders within like 6 minutes. And then
wow.
it has just been, it's been nonstop since then. I
So
love it.
how long does it take to make kind of your standard or average tumbler?
I would say at this point in time, I would say at the very minimum, you could probably get one out in about 7 days. I would say if you want that artistic freedom, I would say 2 weeks. But it's fun. So I mean, I love glitter, and I know I know nobody can see, but I've got like a shelf over here, and then I have a shelf here, and it's like from the ceiling to the wall, to the ground. I probably have about 500 glitters.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so yeah, no, it's a lot.
That's amazing.
It's a lot.
That's
And
really
I don't,
cool.
the only reason why I've like really stopped buying glitters is because I'm outgrowing my space, and I've kind of run out of like wall space at this point. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm trying to get my husband to get me a she shed and move my whole operation out. Boop. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll see.
According to the
We'll see.
commercials, if you need a new she shed, you simply have your old one struck by lightning.
Right? That's literally what it says. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to figure out how to unground the area right there.
Well, I mean,
So.
Doc Brown figured it out in Back to the Future, so.
Which I haven't seen since I was 4. So I mean, I'm just gonna have to go watch it again. That's funny.
One of the things that I say all the time is that art is the only true expression of freedom that we have left. So given what you do with MCAT Creations and, the versatility, the product that you push out, and, the customization and all that stuff, how do you think that creativity and that artistic expression of freedom plays into what you do for your clients?
I mean, right off the bat, I, I have to tell you, sometimes my lead time it stretches and it yo-yos or whatnot, but most of my clients, they're super, super understanding, because when I give it to them, they're like, I feel like a piece of you is like in the cup. And I'm like, I mean, it's got to be, they tell me I'm a perfectionist, and I mean, maybe a little bit, but it just is kind of who I am. I have to tell you, when I get in here, I have to have the right creative energy. And so sometimes I don't come in here, but if I have things going on in the outside and outside noise, and it's kind of got me off. If I come in here, even if I'm trying to make magic, I make mistakes. And so I really try to bring a good headspace, creativity wise, in here when I come. And I don't know, it's like, I love what I do. I love how I like to make pretty things, and I want you to love it when you get it. I want you to feel like I made it for you. There's not going to be another one on this planet like yours. So I mean, it really is important to me. I actually go through and do a lot of communicating through the entire process, because you have people that'll come to you and say, I just want this cup right here, and then they'll show you this cup, and I'm like, okay, well, I can do that cup, but like that cup's already done. I was like, do you want to change a color? Like, what are you thinking? And so we get into the design process. And sometimes in the middle of the design process, I'll come to them and I'll be like, you're not going to believe what I think I can do. And then boom, I'm like, here's this. And they're like, go with it. I'm like, okay, I'll go with it. Even though I've never done it before. And I'm still building my skill set, obviously, but everybody gives me, like pretty much full range, but I also try to incorporate their ideas. I talk to them about, where is it coming from? Why is it coming from there? What's your favorite colors? What do you want it to, what do you want it to make you feel when you look at it?
Right. Yeah. I totally appreciate that. Absolutely. A little piece of your soul and everything that you do. And Yeah, that's amazing. Well,
Not
it's, I mean,
that.
it's really powerful when you think about the state of the country right now, and and obviously the
Yes.
state of the army that we came out of, right? So
Yes.
there's a lot of things that are challenging, women from being successful and from being able to stake their claim on, this is my turf, this is my business, this is,
Yep.
who I am. And then,
Yep.
in a lot of ways, the rest of the country is looking at them trying to do that and saying, hey, shut up, go away. This men are
Well,
talking. And so I think it's
absolutely.
really important not
Absolutely.
only for business owners like us to support other, female-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses, but to
Hmm.
be that voice and that's saying, guys, you got to stop. You got to
Yep.
support each other. So it's really important, and frankly, it's one of the things that attracted me to conducting this interview with you. Obviously, I like the tumblers; they're really cool. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
Thank
when I
you.
think about businesses and artists that I want to feature on my show and support, I want to feature people who are making an impact bigger than here's my stuff, buy it from me, right?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I mean it's awesome. So that was a pieces part of the interview that I had with Emily and MCAT Creations. It was an awesome experience. We talked for over a half an hour, had a great time. She has an incredible product range. So here's what I need you to do. First, I need you to grab that little heart button at the bottom of your screen. I need you to just hammer tap that thing to show her some love, right? Let her know how much you appreciate her artwork, her efforts, and how much you enjoyed her interview. Next thing I need you to do, once the show's over, you're going to get on Facebook and you're going to type in that little search bar at the top. You're going to type M''CAT Creations. Go like her page. If you're in the market for a tumbler, that's the place you're going to go, right? Like, I mean, why would you go anywhere else? I get it. There's other people out there doing this, but I'm going to say without a doubt, nobody else is doing it with the level of care, the level of passion, and just the pure artistry that she's doing it. So MCAT Creations, thank you so much for being on the show, for spending that time with me. You're awesome. Your artwork is amazing. Super, super fun. Yeah, I hope your business just takes off, and you can expect an order from Jack Kiesling at some point in time in the near future.
Yes.
Yeah. See, even the peanut says yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I like this sparkles.
All right. On to the next. Deanna Hawkins is a retired U.S. Army soldier and Medal of Honor recipient enjoying the quiet life of an artist in Portland, Oregon. Without her knowledge, documents proving diabolical manipulation of the American people perpetrated by the government fall into her lap. Forced to run for her life, Deanna must work with unlikely companions to deliver the files to the people. Sinister forces strive to stop her, while an unknown guardian angles for her success. This success could result in the Second American Civil War, while failure could cement the power of tyrants for generations to come. Under the weight of that knowledge, Deanna Hawkins will discover what it means to walk the thin red line between duty and death.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The News.
Good evening, America. Tonight on the Junkyard Journalism section, we've got some awesome stories for you. First up, a backyard roller coaster. What? Yeah, check this out. So this is in England. A young man's uncle, the uncle is named Lee Downing, built a roller coaster in his nephew's backyard. Okay? So they're under pandemic lockdown. Can't go out, can't see friends, getting lonely, getting bored, right? 11-year-old nephew uses a lot of those cool computer programs so you can design roller coasters and stuff like that. He's apparently really good at it. Well, his uncle Lee is an engineer, and then Lee's son is a mathematician. So they put their heads together and they built a backyard roller coaster for their nephew. Really, really cool. And it was all done as a surprise for him. He I don't know how they did it in secret, but somehow 8 days after they start construction, they bring little nephew out in the backyard and they're like, behold, roller coaster. It's really, really cool. So this thing is 230 feet long. They called it the Big Dipper, which is really cool because my favorite roller coaster is in Santa Cruz, California. It's called the Big Dipper. And it's been there forever. It's one of the oldest wooden roller coasters in the country. So I'm like, what? The Big Dipper? Yeah, so 230 feet. And it's just super, super fun. I guess the kid is just on it all the time, and all the neighborhood folks are like, we want to ride it. We want to ride it. It's really, really cool. I can build a lot of neat stuff, but I can't build a roller coaster. So yeah, so their next plan is to build a roller coaster that is all steel and features a corkscrew and a loop. They're going to do that using the engineering and mathematician background in their family, and then they're going to let the nephew design at least, the beginnings of the design on his computer program. So really, really cool. Awesome. That being said, I bet that kid thinks his uncle is a superhero. His uncle's not a superhero, but I know a real superhero. Let's meet him. All right, so what you're looking at on your screen right now is a man dressed as Batman. So you think. What you don't know is this is actually the real life Batman. His name is not Bruce Wayne. Nobody knows what his real name is. For real, nobody knows what this guy's real name is. This is a man who lives in Santiago, Chile. Well, we think he lives in Santiago. He operates in Santiago, Chile. And they are under a many months long lockdown right now. They have a ton of problems with access to food and homelessness, being able to access, the homeless population being able to access food in that city. So someone, and again, nobody knows who this guy really is. It's for real a mystery. It's not like a stunt. Like, nobody knows who this guy is. So this man decided that he would dress up as Batman and he would go around the city delivering food to homeless people and low-income families that don't have access to food during the pandemic. When asked why he dresses as Batman, he said that he felt it was necessary to bring some humor and fun as well as food. So a little bit of feeding the soul as well as feeding the belly. Really cool. Now, let's take a look at this video. I think you'll really enjoy what you see. Once I make it work. That was really cool. I bet that brought a lot of smiles to people's faces, just like the young man you see here. Interestingly enough, studies conducted at the South Australia University have proven that the phrase "fake it till you make it" has some truth to it. With that, fake it till you make it is a phrase that we commonly say in the military or in certain civilian sectors when you don't want to do something or you don't necessarily know how to do something fully well, but you get in there and you try it anyway. And eventually, along the way, you figure out how to do it or you find the motivation for it, right? Fake it till you make it. There are a lot of people out there who say that that idea is harmful because you should just stop and do the research and get the learning and figure out how to do it, or, don't do it until your motivation's in the right place. Whatever your thoughts are on the phrase "fake it till you make it," I would like to propose a new phrase to take its place. Instead of "fake it till you make it," let's try "smile till it's your style." This university proved that by the physical act of forcing yourself to smile, you activate parts of the brain centered around the emotional center of your brain. You can actually make yourself feel happier by forcing yourself to smile. So, have you ever noticed that happy people are just happy and they seem to make themselves happy and it's a mystery as to why? Well, maybe it's because they're smiling so much that they just stay happy. Who knows? But very, very interesting thing. You can actually trick your brain into feeling better by forcing yourself to physically emanate those behaviors, right? So smiling and speaking with a higher pitched voice and all of those things trigger that emotional center of your brain and make you feel a little bit better. It's really cool, okay? So they think, and they're continuing research on this, but university researchers think that long-term effects of building a smile habit can have impacts on your mental health stretching far into the future. They don't think it will cure mental illness or anything, crazy like that, right? Like mental illness is mental illness, and in most cases you need intervention in order to get past some of those mental illnesses. However, consider if you chose to remind yourself to smile every day for a month, how do you think you'll feel at the end of the month? Now, I also know people who say that they don't smile because they don't want to get smile lines and wrinkles. I do.
Lame.
I agree, it is lame. But here's what I will tell you. I would rather hit my 40s, 50s, 60s, and look like a California raisin with all the wrinkles all over my face from all of my smiling and be happy than have a nice looking face and be miserable. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's a moot point when I say that because I was born ugly. But, all right. So consider the impact of forcing yourself to smile and what that'll do to your outlook on life. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Junkyard Journalism. The Fists of Arken is the debut novel by author Jack Kiesling. Action, adventure, and personal challenges are the focal point of this immersive book set against a backdrop of war. Deep character development and wide perspectives explore social issues relevant to the real world. Dive in and discover the answer to the age-old question faced by leaders many. What kind of royal will you be? This is a paid advertisement for Jack Kiesling Books and the Fist of Arken. I really hope you're enjoying the show today. Now is the time for What's Up in Arken. So many of you know that I'm currently investigating the possibility of re-releasing the Fists of Arken with an updated cover and some edits to it and so on and so forth. I am just getting started on that process. So my wife has been without project for a few weeks, and we don't get a ton of time to spend together. So when she's not actively working on a project, I try to not be actively working on something as well, so we can hang out together. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're writing a book or you're editing or you're doing anything involved with that, and you have very little time to spare, it's got to be all or nothing, right? So usually when I'm working on something, we don't get a lot of time to spend together. So that being said, it's been really cool to spend the last few weeks kind of hanging out with her when I'm not at work instead of sitting at my desk working on stuff. That all ends, unfortunately, Monday. So she goes back to, being involved in major projects for, her career, and I go back to running with, this stuff full time. So we're looking at approximately 3 to 4 weeks, and I will re-release the Fist of Arken with an updated cover and some contextual edits and stuff throughout it. Now, let me throw this out there. A number of people over the course of the last year have said to me, hey, let me edit your books. Let me edit your whatever, your website, your short stories, whatever. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everyone who's volunteered to do that. I really do. I get it. I'm not a great editor. But here's where I stand on that. I've been thinking about it a lot, especially because a very close friend of mine offered to do that for me just a couple of days ago. And I've been thinking about it a lot. Here's where I'm at. I keep learning more and more and more about editing and how to do it properly. That's awesome. So, you'll probably notice that, A Thin Red Line has less errors than the Fist of Arken. I know it does, because, I wrote them both. So I'm getting better at editing. Whether I get better at editing or not, I look at my books, these things that I have right here, right? So this is my first book, and this is my second book. If you didn't know that, I'm a literary sandwich, right? I do these things. But I look at my books, right? And I know that there's a ton of, contextual errors in this. I get that. But when I look at my books, I know that every single word in these things is mine, right? I know that every mistake is mine, every error is mine, but every great moment is mine too. I think if I start trying to chase perfection, if I start trying to, change up the formula or whatever the case may be, eventually they stop being authentic to me. I firmly believe that for art to be impactful, for it to be powerful, It has to be dirty sometimes. It has to be rough. It has to be with some errors. But it has to, more than anything else, be authentic to the artist that created it. Now, I'm not saying that some of those editors would change the authenticity of it. But I am saying that it could. I don't know, right? So until such a time as somebody with a lot of money says, hey, we're going to give you this money, and then you're going to get your book professionally edited and we'll re-release it and make you a lot of more money because we're going to make a movie out of your book or some nonsense like that. I just don't want to take away the meanness of it, if you will, right? So like I said, I continue to learn more and more about the editing process and how to do it right because believe it or not, I do understand how the English language works. But let me tell you what, when you sit down and write 125,000 word manuscripts, going back through and finding each issue is very difficult. So I'm learning more and more about the process, and it'll get better over time, right? But even if it doesn't, I love sticking with the idea that every single word in these two books is mine. It's authentically me. And then you, as the reader, can pick up these books and know that even though this one is a story about knights and war and, a princess trying to save her kingdom and her own life, and this one is a book about government conspiracy and a group of people trying to save the American people from corruption. And they're awesome books and they're great adventures, but every single word in here is a tiny little sliver of my soul. And I hope that you can feel that when you read the books. Hopefully, that's enough to get you past the minor errors that are in it some places. But if not, hey, look, that's fair. You know what? Somebody told me when the pandemic started, hey, look, man, your books are great, but even if people don't like them, at least they can use them as toilet paper. Please don't wipe your butt with my book. All right? Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it's like I tell people all the time, like, buy my book. If you love it, let me know. If you hate it, forget you know me, So if you use my books as toilet paper, don't tell me about it. All right? But anyway, mistakes make things original. I really appreciate that, Brent. I agree. Yeah. Yes, you were the meat in the Kelly and Jack sandwich today. Yeah, let me catch up on some comments here. You guys have been talking about a lot of fun stuff in the comments. Oh my goodness. There are so many comments. The peanut gallery looks excited. Yeah. She's playing Club Penguin back there, which is infinitely more exciting than talking to me.
I'm just doing the Puffle Roundup.
You need a TCF Glitter Unicorn of Awesomeness tumbler. I'm absolutely certain she can make that happen for you. Glitter has no gender. No, it's actually really cool. So she talked about it later in the interview. And so like there's a company out that's making stuff called Man Glitter, and it's like metallic flecks and stuff like that. And it's somewhat similar. The way she described it reminded me of like the metallic flake they put into automotive paint and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know. I agree. Like I don't think you guys know my favorite color is hot pink. Like I don't think any of this stuff has to have gender. That being said, we recognize that in our society today there are certain styles that are more predominant to male gender, and then there's certain styles that are more predominant in the female gender. So I think that's kind of what she was getting at there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sure Chris freaked out when she said she had over 500 glitters. Pretty cool. Abigail's on. Hi, Abby. Thanks for being on the show. Oh my goodness. Hey, thank you, Amber. So Amber said the whole professional newsroom setup that I've got going is badass. Thank you. I really like it. It keeps getting better and better too. I keep refining, the style and the setup and the tech behind it, and it's really, really fun. Now Chris is gonna get a tumbler with rhinestones, apparently.
Cool.
Hashtag do you even Arken, bro? Love it. Love it.
I liked it, but I don't.
How much am I paying myself? I don't understand the question, Brent. So the way it works is, so like I sell through Amazon, and then I sell, through word of mouth, and people ordering it from me, or me basically forcing my coworkers to buy them. And so when I sell them on Amazon, I don't make a lot of money. So in fact I had to raise my prices on Amazon too, because my margins were razor thin, and I'm not making any money. So yeah, my margins are really thin. And then, I make more money, when I sell them, in person. Or, I make a little bit more selling them, when people order them direct from me. And I get it. Like, people look at it and they're like, okay, you know, $15 on Amazon, $25 if they order it direct from you. So you got to be making a chunk off of those. But I don't, because I still have to pay shipping. So that $15 that you order it for on Amazon, you have to pay shipping unless you are a Prime member, right? You know, but then when you order it from me, like, I still have to pay for the book. Like, I can't just not pay for it, right? It's not like, you know, they just send them to me for free. It doesn't work that way. I still have to pay for it. So then, you know, I have to pay for shipping on top of that. So I really don't make that much money off this stuff. Like, if you want to make money writing books, you have to sell like hundreds of thousands of copies, you know, and my sales are decent, but they're not hundreds of thousands of copies by any metallic flex. Yeah, I don't know. David, what's up? I still want one of those shelves mailed to me and not the metal or plastic. What?
I don't know.
Are you talking about like my model rack? Bro, that's from IKEA.
We
Just
got
get on.
it at IKEA.
Yeah, just get on IKEA.com and order one. I love those things.
I
amazing.
liked some of the comments, but I don't know how to not reject the page, so that's me.
Yeah, so Peanut has admin rights to the page, so if you ever see anything weird posted on there, it's probably
That's
Peanut.
me, because I don't know how to use it.
All right, but anyway, so yeah, so next, you know, I'll put out the revised edition of the Fist of Arken. Right after that, I'll get started on writing the Tears of Arken. A Thin Red Line took me about 9 months to push out. I'm gonna try to go faster than that with Tears of Arken. I don't think I can do it in 6 months. I said I could last time, but not with my job and my schedule that I have right now. I don't think I can do it. So unless my job changes, 6 months is pretty out of the window. Realistically, I think I'll probably do it in 8. So yeah, well, I guess we'll start a countdown. But yeah, so that you want the models, not the shelf. Oh,
You can't have them.
well, you can't have them. They're mine.
Get your own models.
Don't get it twisted. Those are not yours, Peanut. Those are mine.
Lego my ego.
Oh my goodness. You are apparently cracking everyone up.
That's because I'm hilarious.
That's true. All right. Derek, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. All right. So that's what's up in Arken. Let's go on. So you may have noticed that I did not post the post for last week's short story. My bad. I forgot. Yeah, I got busy and I forgot to post it up. So we'll continue that contest on to this next week. So the short story contest title will be A Romantic Scene in an Unromantic Place, right? So the way this works, if you've never seen the show before or you've never participated in the contest before, write a short story based off the title A Romantic Scene in an Unromantic Place. You'll drop your short story in the comments on the post that I'll put up after the show. At the end of the week, the short story submission with the most reacts, so likes, hearts, angry face, whatever, the most reacts will get read out loud on the show and featured on my website, jackkiesling.com. Okay? Since I forgot to put one up last week, my bad. Okay? So this will be your title. If you already wrote one for this title, hey, cool on you. You don't have to do any work. But in lieu of reading a short story that someone else wrote, this week I'm going to read one that I wrote. Okay. Some of you used this title for a short story contest not that long ago. The title is An Unexpected Union. Grant, it's me. I mean, it's Stephanie. She pulled in a large breath, steeling her heart for what was to come. We have to talk. Okay. Grant sounded sleepy. How did you get my number? I called your mom. I knew she wouldn't change hers. Stephanie had hated that conversation. But she was grateful that Grant's mother hadn't inquired as to the reason for her call. You shouldn't have called, Steph. Grant had his stern voice on. It was unchanged by time. It's been 8 years. Yes, I know, but I need... Stephanie felt her heartbeat racing. Grant's snapping voice cut her off. You left me, remember? I never wanted this. Grant, I'm so sorry. I know I'm the last person you want to talk to, but I need... She could feel his pain, carried in the snap of his voice as he cut her off again. You know, for the first 2 years, I begged for this phone call. I was ready to give up everything and go to wherever you were. Grant's anger was reaching a fever pitch, his words tumbling out like a spilled marble bag. Then, I spent a few years imagining you happy. I tried to wish that for you. I wanted you to have the life you so desperately searched for. But these last years, Steph, all I wanted was to forget you. I finally went to see a counselor, and I was making peace. But here you are, just when I'm starting to be okay, fucking up my life all over again. She had nothing to say. She knew it was cruel to dredge up the past after so many years, and if there had been any other choice, she would have avoided this pain. I know you hate me, and you have every right. See, that's where you're wrong. Grant's tone was much softer, almost warm. I don't hate you, Steph. I love you. I always have. I just can't be around you. I know, but Grant, we're... The phone line cut off. Grant disconnected the call. We're still married. Bum, bum, bum. It was a fun short story to write. Sometimes I take the names of people that I know and plug them into short stories that are just ridiculous, and that was one of them. So there's two of my coworkers on one of my teams that I'm on, and they're definitely not romantically intertwined, but it's super fun. And so I'm seeing it in my head as they're going, and I just imagine this scenario. It's been 8 years since this couple broke up, since their marriage ended, and they think they're divorced, and for whatever reason, she finds out that they're still married. And what does that phone call look like in that moment where she's calling to say, hey, fun story, we're still married? Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. So if you would like to participate in next week's short story contest, look for the post on Jack Kiesling Books after the show. Drop your short story in the comments. Should be fun.
What's the theme?
I already said it like 4 times.
Oh.
An unromantic scene in a romantic scene in an unromantic place.
But that was last week.
Yeah, but I forgot to put it up. Nobody. She doesn't even. She's in the room with me. Ugh.
Don't go.
Huh? Whatever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Junkyard's Got Talent. For our next contestant, we are proud to welcome to the stage Miss Laura Boyett.
What's up, Junkyard's Got Talent? I'm Laura, and just for you today, I am going to be singing Everything Else from the musical Next to Normal, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Mozart was crazy. Flat fucking crazy. Bad shit, I hear. But his music's not crazy. It's balanced, it's nimble, it's crystal, I'm clear. There's harmony, logic, you listen to these. You don't hear his doubts or his debts or disease. You scan through the score and with fingers on keys and you play. And everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. And you play till it's perfect. You play till you ache. You play till the strings or your fingernails break. So you rock that recital and get into Yale. So you won't feel so sick and you won't look so pale. Cause you got your full ride and you're early admit. So you're done with this school and with all of this shit. And you graduate early, you're gone as of May. And there's nothing your paranoid parents can say. And you know that it's just a sonata away. And you play. And you play. And everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. All right, thank you guys.
That was cute.
Well, judges, what do we think? You look like an evil villain sitting back there. Well, look, I'll go first. I'll just first say, like, for me, it's definitely yes. It's definitely yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a yes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a great voice. She's got a great look. That was a great song choice. If you've never seen the musical Next to Normal, what is wrong with you? Yeah, it was a great song choice. Super fun. She has a very clear voice. And, you know, I like that she enunciates, right? For some reason, the trend these days is when we're singing, we don't open our mouths very wide.
It's really
So
frustrating.
yeah, it is. Yeah, great performance, Laura. Thank you so much for sending that in. That was awesome. It was really fun. All right. Any of the other judges have anything to say?
It's crap. That she's so cute and talented. It's not fair. Dang it.
For a second, I was gonna be what? Oh my god.
Crap.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, Simon, seriously? Look, dude, I don't know if you know this, but you lost the war. You have no authority here. Go back to England.
Go back to England.
What, you got something to say? Nobody even knows who you are. It's definitely a yes. Because I vote yes. Peanut votes yes.
Yeah, dog, it's a yes from me.
You can't do that.
What? He's the other one.
He's the other one?
Yeah.
What's his name? Randy Jackson?
I don't know. I know there's Simon and then the dog guy and then it's Paula Abdul, right?
He's just the dog guy?
I don't remember. I never actually watched it. I don't know.
But you're talking about American Idol. This is X Factor.
I've never seen X Factor. How am I supposed to know?
Oh my god. Oh, that was fun. I'm pretty sure Randy was never a judge on the X Factor. But to be fair, I don't know who this chick is sitting next to me. Like, I have no idea who that is.
I know we're covering up. I think it's Brandy. Do you know how I know that? Because she was one of the first judges on America's Got Talent when it got started.
Well, let's see who we're covering up.
Yeah, isn't that? I feel like that's Brandy. I don't actually know. I've never actually seen I've seen the bloopers of the X Factor when they're like, really, the worst auditions on the X Factor. I've seen those.
Okay, but who's this chick?
I don't know.
All right, you know what? You two can just go back undercover because I don't know who you are. Or maybe should we do like that? Yeah.
But we're the important ones. We should be in the middle.
We're the only ones that talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's better looking than the other chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave her up.
And I like yellow.
Yeah.
A good color.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave her up. But the whole point of this is Laura had an awesome performance. That was great.
She has a movie star name. She
does have a movie star name. Her name is Laura Boyett. Like, that is a movie star
That's
name.
a movie star name.
It's Simon, Gabrielle Union, Demi Lovato, and Shakira.
Wait, no, it's not.
What?
That's not Demi Lovato.
That is Demi Lovato.
It's not.
Yeah, you can tell by the pointy back jaw. Yeah, I think it is.
What?
And that's Shakira? I wouldn't question Chris on this stuff. Like, he knows stuff.
That's not Chris.
Yeah. Isn't it? Oh, no, it's Ryan. Yeah, he knows stuff too.
It's not even reading.
Does Simon even have a talent? Yeah, I mean, apparently he's produced a megaton of, like, award-winning music over the years. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's cool. So thank you, Laura, for submitting a talent. I'm sorry we went off on a tangent there. It's a new graphic, so, you know, what do you expect?
We had to discuss it.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Anyway, if you would like to submit a talent video for the Junkyard's Got Talent, you can do that simply by contacting me on any of the social media pages, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can also email me at jackkieslingBooks@gmail.com.
Chris said he's never seen it.
Yeah, I saw that. I chose to ignore it.
Oh, okay. We're ignoring you, Chris.
Deanna Hawkins is a retired U.S. Army soldier and Medal of Honor recipient enjoying the quiet life of an artist in Portland, Oregon. Without her knowledge, documents proving diabolical manipulation of the American people, perpetrated by the government, fall into her lap. Forced to run for her life, Deanna must work with unlikely companions to deliver the files to the people. Sinister forces strive to stop her, while an unknown guardian angles for her success. This success could result in the Second American Civil War, while failure could cement the power of tyrants for generations to come. Under the weight of that knowledge, Deanna Hawkins will discover what it means to walk the thin red line between duty and death.
Okay, that was kind of a cool effect. Ah, it's the end of the world! Mostly because the cat is leaving the peanut, so... Anyway. Anyway, I have no idea what your comments are about. I love you guys for commenting. You're really cool. It's the end of the world. COVID's still happening. Blah, 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 blah. Last week on the show, we talked about the Once Upon a Time 2020 wedding that happened in Fargo, North Dakota, in spite of COVID and, you know, following all the safety precautions and all that stuff. And that was awesome. It's really, really cool. I also read a really cool story about a wedding that took place in the hospital because the groom was diagnosed with COVID. And then, you know, it got kind of not good for him. He had some pre-existing respiratory issues and went to the hospital. So the hospital staff, being the amazing angels that most healthcare professionals are, set it up to where he could come into the hospital and they could bring in some close friends and family, you know, for guests. So we're talking like, I think it was like 10 people there max. And they could perform the wedding ceremony in the hospital. It was really, really cool. The pictures were gorgeous. Like normally you think about a wedding in a hospital and you're just kind of like, man, that cannot look great. But it actually looked really cool. The way they did it up. So unfortunately the groom was stuck in a hospital bed for it, but they propped him up and they put like, you know, a tuxedo top, you know, like the shirt and the vest and stuff on him. And it was really beautiful. Well, then you read further in the article and you find out that he actually made it through his recovery and he's out of the hospital now and they're home enjoying their wedded bliss. So no matter what's going on in the world, right? No matter how rough things get, just remember, if you choose to look for the light, you'll find it. Okay? If you choose to look for the darkness, that's all you're going to see.
Thank you, Uncle Iro.
Thank you, Uncle Iro. So it's funny because I've said that a couple of times on the show. I said it last week. And then a friend of mine quoted me on Facebook during the week. And he was like, in the words of Jack Kiesling, if you look for the light, you'll find it. And I was like, So I had to...
Super stole that.
Yeah, so I commented and I was like, yeah, dude, I straight up stole that. It's from General Iro and Avatar The Last Airbender. This whole end of the world is fake news. I mean, I'm not going to get into a debate whether, you know, COVID's fake or, you know, any of that stuff. I'm not going to get into a debate with that because it doesn't really matter. The world coming to an end, that is fake news, right? So, like, the world's not coming to an end. Guys, this is not the first time we've been through a pandemic. Huh? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know he's making a joke. He's hilarious. Chris is hilarious. Everybody knows he's hilarious. You know, but the world is not coming to an end. This is not going to be the extinction event for humanity. It's just not. And you know, it's not. This is not the first time we've been through a pandemic. This is not the first time a new bug has surfaced and we're all gonna die. Right? And yet here we still are. Right? It would take a lot to take humanity completely out of the picture, and that's just, you know, it's not where we're at. So interestingly enough, I've been playing a lot of Far Cry 5 lately. I love that game. It's really cool. If you've never played it, it centers around a county called Hope County in Montana, which is a fictional county. And essentially a cult that believes the end of the world is nigh has taken over this county. Well, they believe the end of the world is coming, and they're seeking to preserve humanity by essentially forcing all of these people to conform to their religious ideals and then live in these bunkers while the world falls apart. They call it the Great Collapse. And so what's interesting about that is the way my brain works, whatever I'm exposing myself to media-wise is going to inevitably be heavily featured when I dream. So I've been having a lot of dreams lately about like the world, like the collapse as it happens in that video game. And a recent dream that I had was that I was broadcasting the show and the collapse happened and like the world started coming to an end in the middle of my broadcast. And yeah, it was super, super fun. Edith, welcome to the show. But yeah, so I look for the candy and ice cream in life. Absolutely. If you look for the candy and ice cream in life, you'll find it. If you look only for the Brussels sprouts, that's all you'll find. I do too, actually. And at Once Upon a Time 2020, they had Brussels sprouts for the, you know, with the dinner, and they were so good. Even people that hate Brussels sprouts were tasting them and being like, oh my God, these are amazing.
I look for the tacos in life.
Yeah, I also look for the tacos in life.
Not Cheetos.
I like Cheetos too. Speaking of the end of the world, some people saw recently that they released Cheetos mac and cheese, right? And I saw just tremendous reactions to the release of Cheetos flavored mac and cheese on the internet, and people were calling it like the food apocalypse and stuff. And like, but let me tell you what, Peanut over here and I tried some today, this very day. And it was delicious. It was delicious. It like the original flavor one literally tastes like you're eating Cheetos.
Like, you know, like the part where you're like eating the Cheetos and it's the end of the bag and then you have all the dust on your fingers, so then you like lick your fingies.
You lick your fingies.
That's what it tasted like.
Yeah. And then we also tried the jalapeno Cheetos, right? And that was really good too. Awesome. Laura, welcome to the show. You were actually already on the show a little bit ago. Pretty cool. Anyway, so, you know, go to your local Walmart, Target, or whatever, and buy some Cheeto flavored mac and cheese, because you know what? It was really good. Maybe the end of the world is coming. I feel a strange bubbling in my intestines. All right, but yeah, so, you know, the world's not coming to an end. It'll be fine, right? Look for the light. It's not that hard to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the part of the show where now you get to ask me questions and we get to talk about anything you want to talk about. So put your questions into the chat and let me know what you think. Man, Laura is getting some love with the reactions being hit. Yeah, so now's the chance for you to ask me questions about anything that you want to know. So you see a Moose. Absolutely, Brent. Moose has made his customary appearance on the show. Moose.
He's mad because I
Hi,
took his
Mooser.
toy and put it on my desk, so now he's trying to get it.
Oh, see, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's back there, too. He's not getting it.
I pushed it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Yeah, he hasn't made an appearance on the show in the last couple of weeks. It's good to have him back. Yeah, so what do you guys want to talk about? What questions do you have? We can talk about my books. We can talk about art. We can talk about whatever. I don't care. Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Thank you. Oh my goodness. I feel like the show just flew by today. Yeah. Usually by the time we get to the AMA section, I'm like, God, we've been broadcasting forever. But we kind of zipped through it today. Ask me questions, please. I think I'm going to institute like a 5-minute rule. You know what I mean? If I don't get a question in 5 minutes, I'm just going to kill the broadcast. Andrew, welcome to the show. What's your favorite superhero? It's an interesting question. My favorite superhero is the Ghost Rider. But before you go crazy with that, the actual comic book version of the Ghost Rider, not the horrible, horrible Nick Cage movies. Now, I love the Ghost Rider. I grew up reading the comics. I think he's amazing. He's like the perfect anti-hero. I love that he's like under the thumb of the devil and evil forces and Mephistopheles, but he chooses to fight against it. And to me, the Ghost Rider represents the fact that we all have inside of us living this monster that wants to do evil and to be selfish and to be destructive. But by choice, you can choose to be better than that. So, the Ghost Rider is full of, mythological references and stuff like that. And it's just very, very interesting. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's my favorite. Peanut, what's your favorite superhero? Batman.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
It's always really like Batman. Have you ever seen the thingy that's like, oh, like Batman and Iron Man aren't really superheroes because, they're just rich people with money. But have you seen that? But then there's the thing that like, okay, yeah, you take away like Tony Stark's like money and his suit and stuff, and he's just a normal guy. But you take away Batman's suit and his money, and he's still like a ninja.
It's true.
I like Batman, and I really love Dark Knight movies.
Yeah, they're really good.
Really good.
Even though Christian Bale is a terrible Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Christian Bale's barely audible Batman.
I don't know if I'm the one that they deserve. I'm the one that they never know. I don't
Listen
know
to the sound of a man with no voice.
I'm really out of breath.
Oh, that was great. Thank you for that. Oh,
and then
man.
at the end, when like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like, "Oh, yeah, it's by my nickname, Robin," and we're all like, "What the fuck?" I like that part of the movie. And you're like, "Oh, really, really?"
Yeah.
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 But I mean, but Michael Keaton and
Dude,
he's
Michael
cool,
Keaton.
and the Lego Batman game is really cool.
It is, right?
And the chick from Clueless is Batgirl, and that's cool.
Yep. The chick from Clueless is Batgirl.
I don't know her name, but
I don't
love
either.
Clueless. That's a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the movie that taught you to hide all your secrets in your hair.
What? No.
No?
That's Mean Girls.
Oh. It's the same movie.
We go through this every time. There's always something.
Yeah, just like, Cher wrote It's Raining Men, right?
Yes. Cher
What color is your hair? Thank you for the question, David. My hair is non-existent, basically. Yeah, no, so look, David asked that because I usually have, multicolored hair and crazy hair and stuff like that. But honestly, the last 6-8 months, I've been so busy. I don't have time to maintain my hair, so I just cut it off. Hopefully that changes eventually. But MCAT, my husband played It's the Final Countdown leading up to the beginning of the live show. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was really cool at the wedding that we were at. The last song they played was Closing Time.
Yeah. Yeah, but all it made me think about was The Office. So
Home and home and home.
let's see. What's my favorite song? Well, I mean, my favorite song is Forever by As I Lay Dying. Yep. We moshed to it at our wedding reception. It was awesome. I love that song. I mean, it's a metalcore song, but it's very, very beautiful when you listen to the lyrics and everything. It's very beautiful. It's very powerful. I love that song so much. So, yeah, we moshed to it at our wedding, and it was awesome. So that's my favorite song. Close second would be A Little Piece of Heaven by Avenged Sevenfold, which is also, like, unofficially our song. I love that song.
Songs.
Yeah, we do. Interestingly enough, most of them are pretty dark and messed up.
But our other song is The Best Thing to Happen When You're Dancing.
That's true, which is a Danny Kaye song. It's absolutely beautiful. It's from the movie White Christmas. It's a song we danced to for our wedding dance, our first dance. And we were taking dance lessons to choreograph that. But unfortunately, our instructor didn't give a damn. So, yeah, we didn't really get there. But, it was fun.
One day.
One day, yeah.
One day.
What's your favorite song, Chums?
It changes with what songs I can remember.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really get. I just get in moods of because I like a lot of different types of music.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of whatever type I'm feeling at the moment.
It's very fair. Yeah. I mean, my favorite rap song is "Patience" by Nas and.
Yeah. See, like, I feel like I could have a favorite song for like each kind.
Okay. What's your favorite metal song?
Probably Mrs. Hyde by Hailstorm. I love that song.
That's not metal. It's hard rock.
Whatever.
It's not metal. I'm sorry.
It's in my metal playlist.
It's fantastic, but most of the stuff in your metal playlist isn't metal. It's hard rock. We've had this discussion.
Whatever. It's a really good song.
It is a good song. Hailstorm's awesome.
I love
Lizzie Hale is probably one of the most talented people on the planet.
She's so cool.
Yeah. She is really cool. I kind of hate her.
Shit.
I don't know if I should even answer that question, Brent. He said, when will we see you the whip and nay? Never. Because I don't even know how to do that.
Is that how you spell nay?
I guess.
I read it, I said whip and nana, and I was like, what?
I'm not going to whip my grandmother. She's dead.
Dude, that's messed up. Don't whip your grandma.
Why double t-shirts? I pretty much always wear 2 shirts. Also because this my outer t-shirt is friggin' huge. Nah, so I almost always wear a longer sleeved baseball shirt under my t-shirts. I don't know why. It's been my style for a lot of years. So I just do what I do. Hat is your favorite MRE. Hat is your favorite MRE. Well. What is my favorite MRE? Boneless pork chop, without a doubt. Boneless pork chop. They don't make it anymore. I was eating it back in like 03, 04, but it's my favorite because the boneless pork chop entree was delicious, but it also came with spiced apples, which was the best dessert. Dog pinched the wife. Fantastic.
Moosey bit me. Charlie bit me.
Did Moosey bite your finger?
Yeah, he did. He was nibbling it and nibbled a little too hard.
Hi, monster. Yep, come on. You can come up. Good boy. Yeah, so boneless pork chop, by far my favorite MRE. What would be on the gag reel of your life? Probably this.
Our whole lives are gag
Yeah, for real. Our whole life is a gag reel. Hi, monster. Yeah, no, I mean, we're constantly goofing off, and I fall down a lot. Like, I had a pretty bad head injury a number of years ago, and ever since then, like, my equilibrium is super screwy, so, like, sometimes I just fall down. I trip on the stairs a lot. I fell off the couch one time, and then instead of helping me, so I was, like, on my back on the floor with my legs up in the air, and instead of helping me, she grabbed my foot, so I couldn't move. I couldn't get up, because like a wedge between the coffee table and the couch on my back, and she grabs my foot, So I can't move so that she can take a picture of me stuck on the floor.
Well, I didn't have my phone close, so I had to like reach for it, and I wanted to make sure I could get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my wife.
It's a great picture.
I don't know, man. There's been a lot of really funny things that have happened. I think probably the day after our wedding when my wife was talking to me about how I didn't steam the backdrop for the ceremony space and it had wrinkles in it and how I forgot to put out the programs. I think that would probably be in the gag reel.
I drop food a lot.
Oh my God. We're sitting down at dinner one time and I don't even know how she did it, but she like, her salad bowl.
It was a giant bowl, like, you know, like a mixing bowl. Like, you know how you always make the salad too big for the bowl? So we just started doing it in the giant mixing bowls.
Yep.
And I flipped the whole thing over.
She didn't just flip it. It was like it went up in the air, and it was like she did a kickflip, like a skateboarding kickflip with a freaking salad bowl, and salad went everywhere
on the carpet.
Oh, everywhere. It was amazing. And then of course immediately she's like, oh yeah. And I'm laughing hysterically, but she thought I was gonna be mad for some reason. I don't get mad that much. But yeah, there'd be so many things on the gag reel. Oh my God, that's a great question. What age should a person be considered old enough to die of old age? Well, so I think it depends, because generally speaking, when somebody was reported as dying of old age, they died of, system failure, right? Like something shut down. Kidney failure, liver failure, digestive system failure, renal failure, whatever, right? Something failed. So they call it dying of old age because that makes people feel better. They're like, oh, they were just really old and it was their time.
There was an episode of Get Smart where Chaos invented a thingy that could speed up people's aging. So a lot of really young people died of old age. I'm just saying.
But but the point being is that there's not something that happens to you if you reach a certain point in age, whereas like, this one thing happens to all people who reach this certain point of aging where they just die, right? It doesn't work that way. So something killed them, whether it was, like I said, a system failure, cancer, whatever, something killed them. We say people died of old age because it's candy coated, right? It makes people feel better because we can accept that person died of old age so much easier than we can of that person died of kidney failure. Because we're like, well, if they died of kidney failure, then we start wanting to know, why weren't they put on dialysis, or why didn't this happen, or why didn't that happen? And it's harder to accept when we just say that somebody died of old age, right? And the same thing, like when people say they died of natural causes, it's candy coating. That's what it is, right? Like, so technically my dad died of natural causes because he had a heart attack that wasn't caused by like poison or something else, or like trauma, right? So technically he died of natural causes. And if that was what was reported, it probably would have made people feel better, right? But when we hear somebody died, especially somebody younger, like my dad died of a heart attack, it's like, oh geez, like a lot of people have heart attacks. Like that's, it makes it scarier. So putting that they died of old age or they died of natural causes stamp on it, just candy coating, make people feel better. So at what age? I don't know. What's the dumbest way you've been injured? There's been a lot. Probably the funniest is when I was like 7 or 8, I became borderline obsessed with paratroopers and like jumping out of airplanes and stuff. So I made a parachute, right? So I made a parachute out of a bed sheet and I jumped off the roof of my parents' house and I landed on my dad's sawhorse and like knocked a tooth out and I like bit my knee when I landed. So like, I hit myself in the face with my knee and like my teeth embedded into my knee and well, that was a fun one.
I have one.
Yeah.
When I was in 5th grade, I was catching a ball, and then it hit my pinky, and I fractured the growth plate in my pinky finger, and then they gave me a giant cast.
Yeah. And now, her hand looks like that.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looks like.
Oh, man. Okay, I didn't really get hurt. I didn't really get injured. Sort of, right? But probably the dumbest way I've ever hurt myself is I was chasing my sister through my parents' house, and like the way our house was set up, to get to the back door you had to go through the mudroom, right? But so you'd enter the mudroom and then you'd do a 90-degree turn and go through the door to get outside. But right in front of that 90-degree turn was the washer and the dryer. Okay, so I'm like running full speed chasing my sister, and I'm about to hit the turn, and I tripped, and I literally like head first right between the washer and the dryer, and no, I'm not kidding you, my head got stuck between the washer and the dryer, like stuck, and they were now pushed up against the wall on either side, so you couldn't move them to get my head out of it. Like, yeah, I didn't really get hurt in that incident. Like, it hurt, but I didn't like break anything. But that's probably one of the dumber things I've ever done. Yeah, so we already talked about that. We're not doing the whip or nay because I don't even know how to do that stuff, man. I don't listen to that kind of music, so I don't even. Yeah. Gorilla cookie? I'm okay, David. Sure. Randy, what's up, big dog? Randy says, Doggo! Yeah. Who's your favorite South Park character and why? Mysterion. Mysterion. I love Mysterion. And there, some of you who watch South Park out there would be like, oh, Mysterion is Kenny. Yes, Mysterion is Kenny.
Spoiler alert.
If they don't know, that has been out for like 6 years. If you don't know that by now, like, there's no saving you. So by virtue, I guess Kenny's my favorite character, but really Mysterion is my favorite character. I love his storyline. I love everything that he goes through. I love like the kind of the brooding anger inside of him. But I also love that he's like crazy dedicated to protecting his sister, and I love Mysterion so much. In fact, I designed a South Park tattoo that I'm gonna get done on my thigh that features Mysterion super heavily. So, what about you?
Mantequilla! You're my favorite. It's just so pure. Like you remember the episode where he dresses up as a girl and goes to the party, and then he cries in the bathroom because they said he wasn't pretty, and he's like, "You guys, I wasn't pretty."
And Butters is amazing.
He's my favorite.
Oh man. Ryan says he remembers that episode. But he's talking about Get Smart, because this comment was from a while ago.
I love Get Smart so much. So much.
What are some things that sound like compliments but are actually insults? My favorite one that I've been getting lately is like, wow, you wrote a book? That's amazing. Yeah, I get that one a lot at work. Yeah, that was fun. So I got this like, I think I was like 19 or 20 when I was told this, but a girl in a bar told me you'd be really pretty if it wasn't for your teeth.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I said something like, yeah, you'd be really pretty if it wasn't for your shitty attitude. I don't remember what I said, but it was something like that. Compliments is things that sound like compliments but are actually insults.
Sarcastic, and I'm telling people mean things, but then they think I'm sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm just telling them that I actually hate them. But they're like, "Oh, you're so funny."
That's true.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, she's so sweet, cute. Everybody thinks she's like just this super nice angel, but she's actually a demon. Which is part of the reason why I like her so much. Let's see. Heart attacks are no joke. Been there, done that. Yeah, Brent. For real. Yeah. For real. It's Butters! That's me! Oh my goodness.
Ryan Desmond said that you can be Max and I can be 99.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Barbara Feldon is amazing.
Yeah, I'm 100% good with that.
Doing it.
Oh my goodness. The comments jumped. Hold on a second. What classic car do you wish you owned? 70 Challenger TA. It's one of my dream cars. Yeah. I love Challengers. I don't like the new Challengers very much, but yeah.
I want a Volkswagen Bus.
Yep. What year, you ask? She don't care.
Oh, an old one.
They haven't made them in a long time, so.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. If you could know the total truth to one question, what question would you ask? Man, every time Pamela's on the show, it's like deep questions. And I love it. Like, it's awesome. It's awesome. It just makes my brain do stuff, you know? I would want the total truth, I think, behind the racial assassinations in the 60s. Yeah, I would want to know, like, everything that went on behind that. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but it's publicly known now, like, it's been admitted to by government officials that the CIA planned an assassination for Martin Luther King Jr. They denied that the eventual assassination that did take place that ended his life was theirs, but they admitted to planning to assassinate Martin Luther King Jr. They've also admitted to it planning to assassinate Malcolm X and some other pretty serious civil rights leaders of the time. And I thought for a lot of years what different scenario we would have in our world today if some of those civil rights leaders did not die, and were still active and being that voice of equality and reason. So I think if I could ask one question and know that I would get 100% the truth, I would want to know, did our government was our government involved in the assassinations against our civil rights leaders in the 60s? So yeah. Shums? Peanut? It's fair. It's a great question.
I don't know. I just feel like there are some things that I kind of don't want to know the truth.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, like, so obviously it comes to mind as like the JFK assassination, but the truth is I don't want to know that, because if I know the truth and the government did assassinate JFK, then that means that it's much bigger. Like if our government assassinated an American president who was in office, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal. So I don't want to know that. Tiffer says, Izzy is pure pixie, sweet and magical, but full of mischief and can wreak untold havoc. Very true. That is probably the best assessment that anyone else has given up for your character.
That and someone said, she's spicy.
What is the best choice of whole bean coffee? I would be absolutely remiss if I did not call out Black Rifle Coffee Company. Everything they touch is solid gold. It's a veteran-owned company. They donate a lot of their money to nonprofits that support both veteran and civilian initiatives. They donate a metric ton of coffee to nonprofit organizations to use for auctions or to use for guests or whatever the case may be. So I would be completely remiss if I did not adamantly say Black Rifle Coffee Company. No question about it. Facebook annoys me with these stupid blocks. I know, and I contacted Facebook Help Desk about that. Because Facebook, some of you have experienced this. I know Ryan has experienced it, and so has Chris, where if you comment too much on the live show or too quickly, it blocks you because it thinks you're spamming the show, which is really irritating for you guys and is also irritating for me because a big part of the show is your interaction. I value it a lot. So yeah, I'm sorry that that's happening, Chris. Facebook has not responded to my complaint yet. So if you could go back in time for one day, which day would it be? And would you change any outcome of that day? Without a doubt, I would go back to our wedding day, and I would change nothing. Wah! Hold up. I would steam the backdrop and put out the wedding programs.
No, I'm joking. Oh, I'm in trouble. Moosey,
Yeah.
save me.
No, yeah, it was by far the best day of my life. My favorite day. Everything about it was perfect and amazing. Like, frankly, I don't even see, like, when we look at the wedding pictures, I don't even see the wrinkles in the backdrop. Like, yeah, obviously I see them, but I don't think about that. The only reason I would change it is because it bugs her. So, and like, I forgot to put out the programs, and that bugs me because our programs are freaking awesome.
They're so cute.
I have one hanging on the wall right there.
All of our stuff we painted.
Yep. It's true. We hand painted all of the images for our invitation, our program, our save the date, all of it. Our thank you cards, all of it. Yep. Because we're rock stars. Steve, welcome to the show. What's up? It's only on your show. It didn't on Kelly's, and I was a major prick over there. You were not. You were not, Chris. I haven't tried Black Rifle. I drink Eubora out of Georgia, also a veteran-owned company. That's cool. I haven't heard of that. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't drink that much coffee anymore. I kind of cut out the majority of my caffeine out of my life. I super support Rip It energy drinks. I love that company. I love what they stand for. But I have coffee in the house. I haven't drank much of it in a while. Of course, now I kind of want a cup of coffee. Thanks for that, Brent. What time is it? 18:53. All right, we'll give it 7 more minutes. We'll round it out at the top of the hour. Cool. So you have 7 minutes to ask me any little thing that your heart desires. Mantequilla. That episode is so freaking funny.
I love that episode. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And not just the Butter storyline, but the whole episode is amazing. I love it. I love that show. Look, here's the thing. I get it. A lot of people think South Park is stupid, but you're wrong. You're wrong.
I was one of those people until I watched South Park.
Yeah.
And now I know the truth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
South Park is... Okay, to be fair, the last season, the Integrity Farm season...
It was weird.
It was bad. It wasn't good. If you could ask your pets 3 questions, what would they be? Well, I would ask Moose, why won't you stop licking your own butthole?
Oh.
I would ask Lulu what her favorite scratch place is, right? Because she's not one of those dogs that will, like, you know, arch her back and thump her foot if you scratch her in the right place or whatever. So I would just ask her, where do you like being scratched? Where's your favorite scratch place? And I would ask Dimitri, why have you never beat the shit out of the dog? For real. Like, our Great Dane, Moose, he's an ass. He's an ass. But all the cat would have to do is smack him one time, and he would leave the cat alone forever, because while he's an ass, he's terrified of so many things. So, you know, he's a giant Nancy. So I would ask the cat, why have you never beat the shit out of the dog?
I want to know if they're happy.
They are happy.
Like, I already know that they're happy. But, like, I want to know. I love them. I want them to be happy.
Yeah, but you know, if you ask them that, their immediate reaction would be, give us steak and we'll be happy.
Mommy, want more cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness.
I want them to know if they feel the love, too.
Yeah. Let's see. Ryan says, how many times did you miss it by that much?
Dude, I say that so many times, and no one understands what I'm saying.
Yeah, when we first started dating, she said it, and I was like...
Hello, my ringtone is the Get Smart theme song.
It is.
And it brings me joy every time someone calls me.
And sometimes I call her just so she'll get the ringtone.
I love it.
Yep, super fun. Tiffers, is a hot dog a sandwich? No, it is a hot dog. Duh. Now, if you...
Maybe a sandwich.
It could be. If you cut the hot dogs in half lengthwise and lay them out on sandwich bread,
Okay.
it's a hot dog sandwich.
You know what I think we will settle this? I think hot dogs are tacos.
I mean, no.
Yeah, they are. You put them in like a thingy. It's like a taco shape.
The shape of the thingy is not what defines a taco. You're getting fast and loose with the sacredness of tacos here.
I just think it's a fun idea, and I'm upset that you're just shooting me down like
You could put a hot dog in a taco.
You're hurting my feelings, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's my show, so...
This doesn't feel like a safe place.
I never said it was.
This is I need a safe space.
I mean, the cat likes to hide under the bed, so... No, yeah, hot dog is not a sandwich. You can make hot dog sandwiches, but a hot dog in and of itself is not a sandwich. No, it is a hot dog. Why the Chair Force first? Because I was 17 when I enlisted, and that was the only branch my dad would let me go in. Well, that's not true. He said I could go in the Air Force or the Navy, and I didn't want to go in the Navy. Only if in sandwich bread, exactly. Chris goes, ooh, a taco dog!
Taco dog.
But that would be a taco dog, not a hot dog taco.
It was just a fun thought. God.
Yeah, so why the Air Force first? Because I was 17 when I enlisted, and my parents would only let me go in the Air Force or the Navy, and I didn't want to go in the Navy. Why didn't I want to go in the Navy, you ask? Because I don't swim very well. That's what it is. That's literally what it is. I mean, I can swim fine. Like, I can swim in a swimming pool and stuff like that. But I have this primordial fear of, like, the open ocean, like water that I can't see through, and, you know, stuff like that. So I just, especially when I was younger, like, I'm over it now. Like, I can, you know, to a degree, I can be on boats and stuff. It's fine. But I'd still, you know, thinking about being on a ship in the middle of the ocean, you know, and then, you know, war is happening, and, like, the ship gets hit, and now there's, like, you know, 1,000 of us in the water. Like, that is the epitome of my worst nightmare. So, yeah. Yeah. Tiffer says Izzy has gone crazy.
Gone crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, but Chick
Been
always been crazy. Like, since day one, Chick been nuts. Yeah. Which one of you is right? Obviously, I am. Obviously.
It's not fair.
I'm confused. Who lied and told you that your opinion mattered? It's my show. Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed the moment that my wife decided to murder me in my sleep. Yeah, just remember, if I commit suicide, Jack Kiesling didn't kill himself.
Hashtag Jack Kiesling didn't kill
Yep.
himself.
Hashtag JK didn't kill himself. I better see those. I better from the grave see those memes being shared all over the place, or I will haunt all of you. Jack didn't want to be a taxi service. No, I mean, there's a lot of cool things in the Navy. There's a lot of cool things in the Navy. I love aviation, so, I mean, chances are if I had gone in the Navy for some crazy reason, I probably would have gone into, aviation maintenance or mechanic or something like that. I mean, or flight deck. Working on the flight deck on a carrier would have been super, super cool. What weapon would Izzy murder me with? Her mind. What are you shredding? Oh, it's a tennis ball. Dude, my dog is the weirdest dog in the world. He will take a tennis ball and then get his little tiny front teeth and pull the fuzz off the tennis ball. That's like his happy place.
Well, it's because he gets jealous because Lulu is strong enough to just like chew the ball. And he's like, I can't do that, but I can still play with the balls too. I'm just as good as Lulu.
Yeah, he's literally on the floor under my desk right now pulling the fuzz off a tennis ball. Jack is going to get Izzy'd. Yep. Oh my god, I totally forgot. True Information Podcast. If you haven't checked out this podcast, you really need to. Go to Spotify and search True, T-R-U, Information. It's run by two Army veterans. They're both brilliant. It's Marquis Davis and Grown Man. And they're brilliant human beings. They talk about a lot of really important subjects. They're super funny. I love their show. But they coined the term Jackie Chan. Yeah, so they were talking about police brutality, but they were talking about like, a man being in handcuffs, and they're like, what's he gonna do? Like Jackie Chan himself and like, take the cop out or something? And it was just so funny. And then the other one was like, hold up. So Grown Man stopped and he was like, Marquis, did you just turn Jackie Chan into an action? Like you can Jackie Chan like as an action? And he's like, yeah, I did. You heard it here first. And I was just like, okay, yeah. So Jackie Chan is now officially an action that a person can take, by the way. And I'm also a little terrified that Peanut back there is going to Jackie Chan my ass after the show is over and the cameras are turned off. Remember that conversation about Izzy not wanting your head to fall off? Yeah, here's the thing. She doesn't want my head to fall off, but unless it's by her own doing. Also, the way she's going to kill me, head's still going to be attached. I'll just be dead. So, Matthew, welcome. Welcome to the show. Catching the very, very tail end of it, my friend. But thank you for being here nonetheless. And on that note, it is 1900. We've been on the show for an hour and a half. I want to thank you guys all so much for being here today. Reminder, today's show was brought to you in part by MCAT Creations, Laura Boyett, True Information Podcast, and Rip It Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of war. Join us next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Jack's Junkyard. It'll be a fun-filled experience for all. We love you guys. Be kind to each other. Be safe. We'll see you next week. We out.